Crowd buzzing here at the Thomas & Mack Center after the first round knockout by Matthew Macklin against Joaquim Alcine. Now here are Rocky Martinez and Miguel Beltran Jr. Martinez from Puerto Rico, Beltran from Mexico. 6-year age advantage for the Mexican fighter. 1-inch height advantage for the Puerto Rican. Arm length advantage of 1 inch measured from the armpit to the end of the fist for Rocky Martinez. He weighed in 1 pound under the 130-pound limit. Beltran weighed in at the limit. Beltran has added 12 pounds overnight, 11 pounds added by Martinez. Physical equals going into the ring. Roman Rocky Martinez is from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. And Miguel Beltran is from the boxing capital of Lower Mexico in Sinaloa, Los Mochis. And this is a good chance for the Mexican and Mexican-American fans in the arena to exercise their lungs a little bit and get ready to support their man, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a little bit later on this evening. Now here comes young Beltran. He's the lesser known of the two fighters in the fight, even though he already has 28 professional fights. Turned pro at age 17. Not at all unusual in Mexico, where great stars like Marco Antonio Barrera and Derek Morales turned pro at 15, 16 years old. Most Mexicans prefer that to the long amateur career.
The amateur style, what wins points in the amateurs is not really in sync with what wins hearts in Mexico.
Absolutely right. Doesn't win the love and the support of Mexican fans. They want to see blood and guts. They want to see hard physical fighting. That's what Beltran's father has taught him to do. Los Mochis is the home of Jorge Arce, Humberto Soto, Antonio DeMarco. It's amazing that that town has produced as many top-notch fighters as is the case. And now here comes Rocky Martinez. Every Puerto Rican fighter grows up dreaming of the day when he's going to eventually fight a Mexican, try to uphold the Puerto Rican identity against Mexicans. This is the first time in that situation for Martinez. Record of 25-1-1, very similar to that of Beltran. The only loss was to Ricky Burns in Scotland in a heck of a fight.
Close fight.
He was in it all the way. Neither fighter has appeared in Las Vegas before. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Top Rank Boxing and DeBella Entertainment in association with Zanfer Promotions and PR Best Boxing present this next contest, sanctioned by the WBO and sponsored by Tecate con Carácter, AT&T, Rethink Possible, and Win Las Vegas. At ringside, the three judges scoring will be Dwayne Ford, Lisa Jampa, and Clark Sammartino. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Russell Mora. And now, 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBO Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Fighting out of the blue corner, Wearing green, official weight 130 pounds. Professional record 27 victories, including 17 knockouts with only one defeat. From Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, Miguel El Perretirito Beltran. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue, officially weighing 129 pounds. His professional record, also outstanding, 25 victories, including 16 knockouts, only one defeat, one draw. From Vega, Baja, Puerto Rico, Ramon Rocky Martinez.
Centering, centering. Okay, gentlemen, anything below the navel is a foul. We went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to remind you to protect yourself at all times. Acuérdense, quiero una pelea limpia. Dios los bendiga. Toque Montes.
They don't call you Rocky because you run around and slap. Meanwhile, Beltran, for his part, says, "It fills me with emotion to fight a Puerto Rican boxer."
Rocky Martinez is coming off 340 days of inactivity, but he has the advantage in terms of big fight experience against Beltran. Beltran's never been out of Mexico. Rocky Martinez went to the United Kingdom twice, knocked out Nicky Cook in 4 rounds, and lost his tough battle with Ricky Burns in Scotland. So he's been on the big stage more often than has young Beltran. But frankly, we expect both fighters to bring some leather. That's the way they work. Right hand down the middle by Beltran. And you can hear the Mexican representation, Mexican-American representation in the crowd as they cheer immediately for one good shot. Those fans know and are trying to remind Rocky Martinez that in the long history of rivalry between the two flags, the two nation states, Puerto Rico and Mexico, the overwhelming advantage head-to-head belongs to Mexico.
Which is to be expected. Much bigger population, more fighters to choose from. You'd expect to find more great fighters, but Puerto Rico, for the number of people on that island, unlikely to have produced so many great fighters.
Wilfred Benitez, Felix Trinidad,
Fredo Gomez,
Jose Torres, Carlos Ortiz. There's a long list that goes way back.
And some really good boxers, too.
So far, less action than might have anticipated in the first round.
I wonder if that's because of the good right hand that Beltran landed in the first 30 seconds. Martinez's 340-day layoff coming in.
And when
you train and train and train, you spar and spar and spar, but it's still different to go into the ring for the fight.
It's totally different on fight night because you got all these fans here. This is something, and those lights up there. There's something about the fans and the lights that do something to you that you can't get from sparring.
See the proximity of this fight to the main event. They expect this to be a real barn burner, and just then, Beltran landed a right hand right on Martinez's jaw.
Second time in the round, Rocky Martinez really hasn't gotten off. Here's the third right hand to land for Beltran.
Yeah, and the reason being is because you look at Rocky Martinez, all of his arms and his gloves are so close to his body. They're not used for defense too well.
He seems either not warmed up or just not moving well, and Beltran takes advantage with a good first round.
Not fluent at all.
Trabájelo con el jab.
You got to work with the jab.
Jab to jab, 2, 3 jabs. And then to the body with the left and the right. Instead of the jab in the right and the bottom, cross him over and then finish him off. Relax, relax, relax. And be intelligent, baby, right? Be intelligent. Keep your hands up, your defense, pop him. Don't throw in, go in with him. You know how to walk, so walk. Relax, relax. You know how to walk, baby. Defense.
When we think about the current state of Mexican boxing, and you look at the Mexican Beltran there, who had a very good first round. Of course, we saw Antonio DeMarco hold on to his slice of the lightweight championship with a 50-second knockout of John Molina a week ago, fight in which Molina didn't seem to be totally prepared for the first round and didn't make a good decision when he got hurt. And then today we learned that Juan Manuel Marquez, the greatest currently active Mexican fighter in the sport, has made an agreement to fight Manny Pacquiao for the 4th time. Trying for a 4th time to win against the guy that he has not yet officially beaten, though in the minds and hearts of most Mexican fans, surely he's won at least 1 or 2 of those fights and maybe all 3.
Martinez, the more seasoned fighter, if you look at the quality of opposition, but it's Beltran who looks like the guy with the sharper boxing skills.
Pacquiao Marquez 4 will take place December 8th. Mark your calendar.
You know, guys, Rocky Martinez here also is coming in off of a 1-round knockout, so he may have not had enough time to get warmed up in the back. They might have rushed him to the ring a little quicker than he wanted to. But what I don't like about it is even though he was not warmed up, his hands are so close to his face. And what I was taught was that if you use your hands for defense, keep them a little bit away from your face, because if a punch gets by your hands, you still have time to move out the way. He doesn't have time to do that because they're so close to his face. Like that.
Yeah, the right hand is practically behind his own chin.
That's exactly right. So his hands are not really being used as a shield. And it caused him to get popped with some big punches early in this fight.
Now Martinez got in a good left hook there. That's his best punch of the fight so far. Beltran found a home for his right hand in the first round. Martinez is trying to stay away from that in this round. Beltran, you see, missing with the right hand there. And Roy Jones, I have to comment on something you said during the fight between Macklin and Alcine when you said, that's why I held my hands so low. I think there were 1,000 reasons why you held your hands low. And not blinding yourself wasn't one of them, okay?
I was just making a joke.
We know you held your hands low to start your offense and to have them free.
You never want to keep them this close to your head, though, because, like I said, if a punch gets by your gloves, you don't have a chance to react, like turn and roll with the punch or nothing else, because the gloves are so close to your face. But the good thing about him is he's willing to bring it to get it, so.
Let him go.
And he keeps the elbows tucked. Maybe that he's been in enough phone booth kind of fights that he's protecting his body.
September 29, boxing. September 29, Boxing After Dark returns with a triple header. Edwin Rodriguez against Jason Escalera. Vic Darchinyan faces Luis Orlando Del Valle. Also, Alex Perez fights Antonin Decari. October 13, more Boxing After Dark, more good matchups. 122-pound champ Nonito Donaire up against Toshiaki Nishioka, and in what could be a classic war, Brandon Rios against Mike Alvarado. I don't call the Boxing After Dark fights, but Max, I'm making the trek to see Rios and Alvarado.
That is.
Here you see Rocky coming forward. Beltran back through a left hook, followed by right uppercut, but then this big left hook by Rocky got in, came right down the side of that right glove.
Roy, we saw where the position of Martinez's gloves on the way in was effective for defense on the inside.
Exactly, and that's what he fights like. He fights like a defensive fighter or a close fighter that's fighting on the outside.
You know, Roy, I think it's a part of your greatness as an expert commentator that you know all of the conventional craft elements that you didn't necessarily employ. You know, like Muhammad Ali, you fought in your own style, completely improvised and freewheeling because physically you could. But looking back at your career, if you had fought totally conventionally, if you had followed all the rules that are taught in the gym, you think your record would have been basically the same?
No, because I had to live on the edge. If I don't live on the edge, I don't have a good time in there. So I had to stay on the edge.
So you were better the way you fought?
Yes, I was. That's what God put me here to do.
But you wouldn't teach your sons to fight that way, would you?
I probably would.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, Rocky Martinez needs to get on the inside. He's a taller fighter, but his whole game is based on an inside game.
That's exactly right. That would explain why he holds his hands the way that he does.
And if he wasn't warmed up in round one, he appears now that he is moving more fluidly, much more active. It was almost as though he was standing and watching in the first round.
That's a lot of pressure fighters are like that. Chavez in the main event tonight is a pressure fighter, and oftentimes we see it takes a couple rounds, 2-3 rounds, for that pressure fighter who throws a high volume of punches to really heat up.
Well, Chavez Jr. in the first round against Andy Lee in El Paso in July barely threw any punches at all. Ultimately, he got going.
His father took a couple rounds to heat up. Joe Frazier took a couple rounds to heat up. Pressure fighters. It's what made Mike Tyson so unusual, that he attacked from the opening bell the way he did.
Started to say Jack Dempsey was pretty good in the first round.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was like the microwave. He was hot instantly.
But the steady pressure fighters who just keep that steady pace takes a couple rounds, and Martinez seems to be heating up a little bit here.
Don't punch back here. I got it. Don't punch back here. Let's go. Both of you, don't do that. Let's go.
And they trade punches behind the head.
Incidentally, you can scarcely miss the scar in the scalp of Beltran. Down the right side of his skull. If I'm pointing it out to you for the first time, you'll see it. It's a vertical scar, fairly lengthy on the right side of his skull. And that was a surgical removal of a hematoma. Now, that sounds scarier than it was, because the hematoma was not inside the skull on the brain, but rather on the surface. It was the result of an accidental headbutt with Juan Carlos Salgado in a fight that took place in his hometown of Los Mochis, and the surgery was done here in Nevada.
All right, Sonny, he's ready.
And there's a look at Sergio Martinez, who's getting his hands wrapped by Nassim Richardson, who's been brought in specially for this fight. Didn't know he was going to do this. We knew for sure that he would be watching the hand wrapping in the other room. Meanwhile, why does Martinez have cotton stuffed into his nose, Roy?
I don't know. Certain guys do different things for certain reasons. There may be something that's smelling in the room, or maybe he has sinus issues. I don't know for what exact reason he has it in there, but I mean, he has his reasons.
Never seen it.
Usually when I see that, I think a nosebleed.
I think we can also say with some certainty that Nassim Richardson has never wrapped his hands for a big fight before. Now, he may have wrapped his hands in the gym, but is it conceivable that there's something new about being wrapped by a different guy before the biggest fight of your career?
No, what's conceivable is that if he's good enough to catch the guys when they cheat, then he has to be one of the best at wrapping, because he knows how close to go to the line without cheating.
CompuBox numbers through the third round. Martinez 17 out of 104 and Beltran 17 out of 88. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through three?
Okay, Jim. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28, Rocky Martinez. You know, it's interesting. In round 1, Miguel Beltran hurt him with right hands. But then in rounds 2 and 3, it just changed the round. Rocky Martinez walked him down. Rocky Martinez got off first. Rocky Martinez landed the left jab and a straight right hand. And Miguel Beltran stopped doing much. So, you know, as I say, the first round to Beltran, the next 2 to Martinez, 2-1 Martinez.
Beltran doing a pretty good job here.
Cornering Martinez and wailing away.
Martinez just doesn't seem to be busy enough. Not Martinez, Beltran. Martinez is coming on like he's supposed to, but Beltran just seems to be waiting a little bit too much to let Martinez get started. Like
Hard
that.
right hand by Martinez. Now that he's gotten going, Martinez the more relaxed and fluid fighter. Good left hook.
And this fight is taking an unusual approach because usually it's the Mexican fighter stalking the Puerto Rican fighter.
It does seem that way. that in the old days it was the Puerto Rican stylist versus the Mexican aggressive fighter, and now we see increasingly, and we may just be stereotyping, but Wilfred Benitez, you think, is a great Puerto Rican boxer. Ortiz and even Camacho. And,
I think it looks as though if this fight goes 12 rounds and energy levels rise and fall, they're going to trade roles back and forth. There are going to be moments when Martinez is the aggressor, and there are going to be moments when Beltran is, as he lands another right hand there.
But Beltran doing it off the counters, and Martinez is the guy applying the pressure.
Great point.
I think Beltran is the stronger puncher by far. He's just not throwing enough.
Thrown a little bit more in this round.
Yeah. I think he's done the best work in the round.
Stop! No, let go. No, not back here. Not back here. Listen. Not back here.
Gotta work. Gotta work, you understand? Let him build too much. Come on, you gotta put your balls in there. Let's go. It's the title here. You gotta work. You gotta work. Move and get out fast.
Here you see Beltran follow the taller fighter straight back and then a straight right hand because Martinez back straight out, and being a taller fighter, the one thing you don't want to do is raise up high on your way out. Right there, you see that right hand come straight down the pipe as he backs straight out with his head up high. That punch hurt Martinez.
Beltran might have been wondering why Martinez didn't go down on that one. Heck of a shot. Round 5 begins. Pretty even fight up to this point between Rocky Martinez and Miguel Beltran. Well, just to show you how unpredictable the sport can be, as we met with the producers before the evening began and discussed the timing of all this enterprise and when the main event might make it to the ring, one thing of which we were fairly certain was that Alcine would extend Macklin over the course of some rounds. That fight wasn't going to necessarily be quick.
We didn't think it was, but it was.
One round. All credit to Matthew Macklin.
A lot of people thought that Marroquin would be knocked out in 2 or 3 rounds by Rigondeaux, and that went the distance.
That went the distance. Theater of the unexpected.
A wise man once said.
And we wait to see what unexpected things will be treating us for the evening in the main event. Sergio Martinez against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in as graphic and dramatic a style contrast as you could ever hope to see.
Now this fight is starting to look like the fight we expected.
And it's definitely the fight that Martinez wants. In close, in a phone booth, so he can keep his arms and his elbows tucked in. He works better from that position.
And he's doing it because he didn't get discouraged by being hurt by a guy who was countering him effectively. Kept the pressure steady as she goes, willing to take some shots and force the fight.
In this case, Beltran seems to be the better puncher and boxer, but I think Martinez's best opportunities come when he's close, like that.
Well, if you're outgunned as a puncher and a boxer, you better fight.
And that's what he's doing now.
That's what he's trying to do.
Oh, good shot. Two good
Excellent
punches.
right hand shot by Martinez. And another one. More of a slinging. Oh, hard right hand countered by Beltran.
Oh, Martinez just landing bombs.
And blood now from the left eye of Beltran after one of those vicious right hand shots by Roman Rocky Martinez.
Slugging it out here.
Really slugging it out.
They standing up. Both guys have landed some huge shots in this round.
Cleanly, sweat-flying shots.
And we showed you Naseem Richardson wrapping Sergio Martinez's hand. This is what we knew he had been brought here for. He is now the #1 hand-wrapping cop in the world off of his brilliant star turn catching Javier Capetillo trying to load Margarito's gloves before the fight against Shane Mosley in Los Angeles a couple Januaries ago. Naseem commenting on the wrap as he watches it. Here's a look at Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who is working on Mexican broadcast of this fight, and no doubt with a nervous stomach. Power shots in round 5. Martinez 25 out of 72. Beltran 16 out of 43. Only 2 jabs landed in the round. They're barely bothering with the jab anymore. It's a swing away kind of fight. The cut was caused by a punch, and that seemed utterly obvious based on the slinging right hands that Martinez was throwing and landing at that moment.
That cut is spouting blood right now.
Yep, the cut is bleeding again outside the left eye of Miguel Beltran. And Beltran seems to feel a sense of urgency as he's coming on, not countering anymore, but rather starting the exchanges. Now he backs off and waits to see what Martinez is going to throw.
He acts as though he hurt his left hand. He keeps putting his knuckles in the, see right there?
Yep.
His knuckles in the palm of his right hand, so he may have had a hand injury just now.
He's shaking his right hand too, though.
Well, it was 1891 when John L. Sullivan and James J. Corbett first laced on gloves after Sullivan had tired of breaking his hands in every fight.
That's the thing about a guy who keeps coming. I mean, it sounds funny, but it's true. Hands can get worn out on someone's hard head.
They sure can. And Rocky Martinez has taken some wonderful punches in this fight, so he definitely has a hard head.
Beltran with a good counter uppercut backs Martinez off.
Cuidado cabeza, cuidado cabeza. Let go, suéltalo. Stop! Let go.
Right hand by Beltran.
Beltran should be encouraged by moments like that, but there's Rocky Martinez swinging away, and Roy, I imagine that can get discouraging after a while.
Yeah, it's very
Another
discouraging.
big right hand by Beltran.
No matter what Beltran does to him, he continues to keep coming. It's like he has a battery.
Ya está a punto de caer, ya lo viste. Bien relajadito, amigo.
He's ready to fall. You see, relax. Nice and relaxed.
El agua esta.
The water there.
Hay que echarle agua en la nuca, en la cabeza.
Put some water on his neck.
Mira, amigo, lo está cachando bien. Se va a caer.
Son, you're catching him well. He's going to go down. The fake him.
Píntelo. Tiene que ser hoy.
Has to be today.
Oye, no,
Today. All right, we gotta go. We gotta press, baby. Don't move back. Don't move back. Inside close. You should let go.
He see Beltran coming forward a little bit. Slips outside, throws left to the body, followed by a right hand once again when Martinez is backing straight back. The taller fighter cannot pull straight back after the exchanges.
Round 7 begins. Good, tight, even fight between Rocky Martinez and Miguel Beltran. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Look at you. I got it 4 rounds to 2, 58-56, Rocky Martinez. You know, rounds 5 and 6 were very interesting. Certainly, Miguel Beltran landed the bigger, harder, cleaner shots, but Rocky Martinez landed more bigger, harder, cleaner shots. It's just that Rocky Martinez keeps pushing him back, coming forward, getting off first, and landing, really good solid left hands and straight right hands. Landing too many. I thought he won rounds 5 and 6 because he punched more. 4-2, Rocky Martinez.
I'm looking at the 3 judges, Dwayne Ford, Lisa Jampa, and Clark Sammartino. They are studying intently. These are not easy rounds to score. There's a lot of action in there.
And a guy like Rocky Martinez, he seems to make up for the difference in punching power and skills with his pressure. He keeps so much pressure on you until it doesn't matter that you may be a little bit better or a little bit stronger than him. He neutralizes that with pressure.
Right, but let's not forget, while Martinez is giving us all the feeling that he's coming, he's breaking Beltran down. Meanwhile, Beltran is scoring a lot. And sometimes a guy can give you the impression that he's winning the war, but if he's losing those battles, that's 10-9 the other guy.
But there, for instance, is a sequence where Beltran lands a big punch, but after Martinez has landed 6 or 7 smaller punches inside the scuffle.
And that's what makes it so hard for these judges.
Also, as you pointed out, Roy, Martinez is a taller fighter who backs straight away from time to time, and that puts a lot of definition on Beltran's landed punches. I mean, you can see them cleanly, and Martinez's head goes back. Whereas when they're inside like this, and Martinez lands 2 or 3 little punches, they're not as obvious.
Not nearly as obvious.
That's a great point, Jim. In the last round, that clean right hand that shook Martinez's head, rocked it back, wasn't a devastating punch, but it looked devastating the way Martinez's head snapped back.
Right, and it might make up for 6 or 7 little landed punches on the inside by Martinez.
Good body shot by Beltran.
And we need to see more of those. Neither guy has gone to the body with as much discipline as it seems would be the need to benefit them.
Martinez thought good idea and threw a left hook of his own to the body.
There's a hard body shot by
good body
Beltran.
shot.
And then a big combination by Martinez, putting his punches together.
But they throwing some real leather inside there. Good body shot.
We mentioned the need for more body shots, and Miguel Beltran took the cue.
Treating each other like heavy bags.
September 22, join me for another edition of the Fight Game. Our main topic of conversation will be the fallout from the competing boxing shows in Las Vegas here tonight. October 27, undefeated prospect Thomas Delorme of Puerto Rico faces his toughest test yet in Carlos Abregu. Mauricio Herrera, coming off a superb fight against Mike Alvarado, faces undefeated Kareem Mayfield. And Argenis Mendez versus Art Hovhannissian.
Gotta get in close. Gotta stay in close. These combinations.
Easy Beltran in a beautiful combination. Uppercut to the head, followed by a hook to the body. Beautiful combination. That left hook would normally drop an average fighter, but it didn't bother Rocky Martinez.
And here's a perfect example of what we've been talking about, guys. You can remember a lot of Beltran's landed punches from the last round. We were oohing and eyeing about the body shots. The CompuBox saw him landing 10 out of 37 power shots, whereas they had Martinez landing 21 out of 53. And that's the difference to which Harold was pointing in establishing why he had it 4 rounds to 2 after 6 for Rocky Martinez.
Stop! 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 Let's go. Harassment.
As the rounds go on, Miguel Beltran is trying to impose his physical strength on Rocky Martinez.
Stop!
And I think,
Beltran, the younger guy by 6 years.
I think he realizes now that when he goes and pushes the issue and starts first, he's less likely to get caught by Martinez. Whereas when he lets Martinez come at him and dictate the pace, Martinez usually lands his better punches.
Best defense is a good offense in this case.
Yep, for both fighters.
So Beltran stepping up, being more aggressive, and not falling into the counterpunching role as often as he did in the early rounds.
Well, right there he did, but yeah, that's what he's trying to do right now. That's why he's trying to cut the ring off and take over the fight. Impose his manhood.
Stop!
Of course, in the best of all worlds, you can do both. You can lead and counter.
When Martinez is going backwards, Mike Tyson popularized punching with bad intentions. His intentions while he's moving back are not as bad as when they're coming forward.
That's exactly right.
When Rocky Martinez is coming forward, every shot is with bad intentions.
Stop! Okay. Time. Over there. Get back here again. I'm taking a point, okay? Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Come on.
That is at least the second warning. So Russell Moore is giving Beltran every chance, trying to avoid taking a penalty point for hitting on the back of the head. He was very close to doing it again there.
Yeah, but I don't think he tried to do it that time.
I agree. Good uppercut by Beltran inside. Pushes Martinez back. Body shot by Beltran.
Beltran throws a mean left hook to the body, and so does Martinez.
So does Martinez right there. A whipping left hook to the body.
Like they said, that's usually when you can tell they hurt the guy, because he comes back and gives a bit of your own medicine to you.
And Beltran is conscious of that left hook to the body now. He's keeping that right elbow tucked to catch it.
And by the way, when we say left hook to the body, think Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's as big a key as any to his chances of beating Sergio Martinez. Sergio Martinez began in other sports besides boxing. He was a soccer player. He was a bicycle racer. He has some unusual and unconventional training techniques. Here he is getting stretched out in the dressing room with perhaps as few as 15 minutes to go before entering the ring against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Martinez is 37 years old. This will be his 50th prize fight tonight. It is by far the biggest fight of his career. A gorgeous night in Las Vegas. Down the strip at the MGM Grand, there's another big boxing card as Canelo Alvarez, Mexican star, is taking on Josecito Lopez of the United States. A lot of people said it was absolute madness for these two big cards to take place in opposition to each other, but both promoters are saying that it's a success and the big night is turning out well for them. Sergio Martinez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. get credit already for an attendance record and a live gate record for the Thomas and Mack Center, and there have been some big fights here in the past, including Holyfield Bowe. The first one.
Stop! Let go, let go. Get your head up.
Chavez and Camacho. Senior, of course.
Joe Calzaghe against Bernard Hopkins was the last time we were here for something big.
Get your head up.
All of those attractions outdone, at least in terms of attendance and monetary numbers, by what Martinez and Chavez Jr. have accomplished tonight.
Break! Let go, let go.
So used to seeing big punches land in this fight. Beltran just landed a big left hook. Sweat flew and it hardly registers.
Because Martinez takes him so well. I mean, you never see a guy this tall for his weight like he is, who's built with a slender build that should be an outside fighter, fight so well inside. Well, I guess he fights like Kenny Pavlik. Tall guy that's a pressure fighter.
Diego Corrales.
Murky Sosa.
Late great.
Eric Morales.
I think the body shots are starting to wear him down a little bit, though, from Beltran.
Well, one way that shows up is arm punching. We'll see if Martinez can keep the steam on his punches down the stretch of the fight. Round 9 of a scheduled 12 now. This is a close fight. Beltran has been warned twice for hitting behind the head. Has to be in the back of his mind now.
Bruising fight.
You ain't joking.
Both fighters appearing in Las Vegas for the very first time in their careers, even though they're pretty close to 30 fights apiece professionally.
What you're seeing that you don't see every day is not just good exchanges, but good exchanges where each shot is thrown with concussive force. They're just taking these punches very well, Roy, as you point out.
Yeah, there's two wily veterans in here now. These are not amateurs playing around. These are guys who know what they're doing.
They're showing stamina, sturdy chins, remarkable will. It's a terrific fight.
Tough bodies.
Who will wear down first? Who can keep going to the limit for all 12 rounds? Look at Martinez loading up combinations late in the fight, and a hard right hand counter by Beltran drives him back. That kind of action all through the fight. Stretching is the vogue in both dressing rooms for the main event. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. getting pulled there. Longer legs than those of Martinez. But one interesting physical dynamic in that fight. Even though Chavez Jr. is 3 inches taller, Sergio Martinez has longer arms. And that could show up in the exchanges.
Chavez is going to have to cut off the ring.
You gotta prepare that left. Prepare that left. And finish off. Double up.
Told you it was a terrific fight. Power shots in the 9th round by CompuBox count. Martinez 20 of 52. Beltran 20 of 47. You can't get much more even than that, Harold. How do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jermaine, it's 6-3, 87-84, Rocky Martinez. You know, Miguel Beltran, obviously the harder puncher, but Rocky Martinez outworks him in virtually every round. I mean, just keeps coming forward, never stops throwing punches. He takes Beltran's big shots real well, and he just keeps coming back in combinations. I think he's just landing too many, trying too hard, moving forward, getting off first, and doing more work. 6-3, Rocky Martinez.
Total punches connected so far in the fight, 140 for Martinez to 103 for Beltran. So those little differences here and there in the exchanges, a few more punches for Martinez in almost every instance. Now setting up some distance between the two fighters in CompuBox numbers. Judging doesn't always reflect that, as you know.
Step back, step back.
No, Martinez is often outworking Beltran. And just because a punch lands cleanly doesn't necessarily mean it's more effective. I think you do deserve the credit for the cleanly landed punches. And Beltran is landing some clean shots.
And why do I suddenly have the feeling that both fighters have tired here in the 10th round, Roy?
Well, you got that feeling because both of us seem to have that feeling. We see less aggression, less amount of punches in the combinations. They're throwing more 1 and 2 big punches now instead of 3 and 4 punches like they were earlier in the fight. But this is a product of those early body shots that we've been seeing. Also, Good shot.
Now Beltran gets some leverage on his shots. A big left and a big right knocks Martinez back with a left hook.
However this ends, another tremendous chapter in the history of Mexican and Puerto Rican boxing rivalries.
Beltran trying to mount a rally. Mexican and Mexican-American fans rising to try to bring him with them. Noise growing in the arena. They're warming up for what could be a sensational main event.
This is one good fight.
Good body shot by Beltran.
Hey, stop!
Martinez trying to answer.
Get your punches out. Let's go.
10 seconds left in the round. Beltran may have narrowed the distance just a little bit.
This is yours, son. This is yours. Put some water on him. You gotta go now. Be careful with him. Gotta go lockout.
You see Beltran coming forward with that pressure, leading with a beautiful left hook to the body as a counter to the left hook to the head that he received.
Power shots in round 10. Miguel Beltran felt the urgency. 25 out of 59. His high connect number and his high output for the fight. Martinez not far behind at 21 out of 48. They go into the championship rounds 11 and 12. Harold Letterman agreed with me that Beltran narrowed the margin just a little bit. 2 rounds to go. Good right hand by Beltran, but Martinez comes back with a combination of 4 punches. Good left hook by Beltran.
In front. Stop.
Crowd oohed and awed with that one. Another instance where Martinez was backing up and had his head up.
Break.
Is that a cut over Beltran's left eye? Oh yes, that's the one that has been bleeding for the last several rounds.
No, stop.
This is going to be a point deduction. 1 point deducted from Miguel Beltran. It's so difficult to avoid that in a fight of this nature.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult because you just get used to throwing that punch, and before you know it, you've already thrown it.
That's a tremendous boost for Rocky Martinez going down the stretch. Might have lost the 10th round, just got the point back.
Yeah, I know he was warned, got a hard warning. The ref followed good protocol, but it didn't seem to me like he's aiming for the back of the head. Both guys are fighting like hell, and they're just throwing shots, and sometimes the head is not where you think it's going to be.
Seems like that point deduction has Beltran going for gusto now, though.
As though he wasn't before.
But
there's another level.
It looks like another sense of urgency. Look how hard he's chasing Martinez around now.
I agree.
But if, for instance, Harold Letterman's card is the correct card, that point deduction would now mean that Beltran needs a knockout to win the fight.
It wouldn't surprise me if one judge has one guy ahead, the other guy has another guy ahead, and it's even on a third.
I agree, not an easy fight to score.
Give me that towel.
Now Russell Moore is going to give them both a rest while he towels off a moisture spot in the ring. With 4 minutes left in the fight, this could provide a finishing burst.
It probably will.
Go. Box. Stop. Let go. Let go. Let go. Suéltalo, suéltalo. Pelea limpia. Stop! Let's go. Watch your heads.
Good right hand by Beltran. Martinez took it well.
Trózale la cinta. Dame una botella de
Got the
agua.
tape. Little bottle of water.
Es de usted.
It's yours.
Sí. Es de usted, mijo, ya no.
It's yours, son.
Ya no hay que
He doesn't want it anymore.
Mejor lo agarra, pero no me salgas para atrás, ¿ok?
And never go backwards. Don't go backwards. Stay inside of here.
All right. Here you see Beltran coming forward. I mean, yeah, both fighters coming forward. Beltran threw a short one to the head, back of the head, but that second one right there is why the referee gave the warning.
Now I see
It's the intent.
on second watch, I see why the ref deducted the point.
The second one showed the intention.
Great
Ref did the right thing.
12th and final round.
And it was a gratuitous shot and unnecessary, and it didn't do anything for Beltran.
And it didn't really even land, but the intent was to land.
Yep.
The beauty of boxing sportsmanship, the two fighters smiling and hugging each other. They know they put on a whale of a show. In their first trip to Las Vegas. For both fighters.
Suéltalo, suéltalo.
This is not the best action in the fight, but these little skirmishes are perfect examples of how Rocky Martinez gets his hands free and manages to remain more busy, particularly on the inside, than Miguel Beltran. That's what Harold Letterman calls piling up the points.
And I agree with him.
Something tells me in the next minute 30 we're going to get some more fireworks here. If this entire fight is any indication.
Martinez using his feet well.
And Martinez kind of in a prevent defense, but that's just not his nature.
At all.
Go. Let him go. No. Don't hold him down. Go. Suéltalo, suéltalo. Stop. Don't pull him down. Let's go.
That's his nature.
Go. Hold him.
Trying to close the show.
Stop. Suéltalo, suéltalo.
Because he's so busy throwing punches, it doesn't allow Beltran to throw as many punches as he wants to throw.
100% correct.
Let him go. Let him go. Stop.
Martinez had a brand new daughter born Friday. Her name is Sophia. She's 1 day old. Dad hopes to give her a present.
Oh, her daddy's a warrior. What a terrific fight. Tremendous performance, tremendous effort by both guys. Just gave all the fans here their money's worth.
Two winners. Neither guy really lost that fight. They both gave everything they had. How you have it through 12?
Look at you. I got it 114, 113, 6-5, 1 even. Rocky Martinez. But Jim, once again, and this kills me, the fight was decided by the referee.
Absolutely.
I hate that.
On your scorecard,
I hate that.
He wins by the penalty point.
I don't want to see a guy get hurt by a rabbit punch, but for God's sake, it was the 11th round. The fight was tight as all get out. We knew it. Don't take a point at that point in time when Miguel Beltran threw a very, very soft shot to the back of Rocky Martinez's head. No need for it. The referee shouldn't have decided the outcome on my part.
I think the ref sometimes feels cornered by his own previous statement to the fighter that if you do it again, I'll take a point. He feels at that moment, since he's already said it, he saw the intention and he has to, but it's a judgment call, and I see Harold's point.
All right, there's a lot of suspense here at ringside as Michael Buffer steps to the ropes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Lisa Jampa scores it 116-111 for Beltran. Dwayne Ford has it 114-113 for Martinez. Clark Sammartino scores it 114-113 to the winner by split decision, who is now the WBO Super Featherweight World Champion, Ramon Rocky Martinez.
So victory in the end goes to Martinez in an extremely close fight. You see the disappointment on the face of Miguel Beltran. You heard the disappointment from the largely Mexican and Mexican-American crowd. And one more time, a look at what ultimately, painfully, decided the fight. Russell Mora's decision to penalize Miguel Beltran for that second little meaningless tap to the back of Rocky Martinez's head. Yes, he had been warned. Yes, it was a full, open, verbal warning. No damage was done by that near rabbit punch. But at the end of the day, it decides the fight. Martinez landed 33 more. He threw 152 more. They landed at nearly the same connect percentage. Power shots. Martinez ultimately landing 8 more. Beltran came on in the last 2 rounds to get nearly even in that category. And they landed at the same connect percentage.